so much hair on my keyboard. Da, 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 da. Good morning. Welcome to morning medley number 231. I'm gonna begin the medley early in the stream. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Union Station. Hello, Jordan. Good morning, Josh. No, Josh, it is not. What is Titan Gel? Titan Gel? No, it's not Titan Gel. I've never used gel in my hair, if that's the type of gel you're talking about. Medley. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear you're at least pushing for it, Sarah. Yeah, it's been kind of a weird time for me as well. Thanks for coming back to the stream, though. Appreciate you. Hey, Jordan, how was your weekend? God, my weekend went by so fast. Oh, hey, what's up, Sire? Hey, what's up, Diz? How was everybody's weekend? Hey, what's up, Ava? What happened? Hey, what's up, Jesse? You, Sarah, I spent the weekend working. the stream's really behind, I apologize. I don't know why that's happening. This song is called Over and Under. Thanks, you, Sarah. Ooh. Cyber's doing an impression of a new person with the stream. Yeah, try to keep it fresh, or at least slightly fresh. Cyber. Crap, I missed the chat. I don't know what people are talking about anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Got stuck in a weird alternate version of Flight Pan. Flight Pan? Fight Pan? I might make a song called Fight Pan, guys. Peter Pan based fighting game. There's not too many like worlds, I guess, I wouldn't play a fighting game based off of. long right there, but I like. It sounds horrific for some reason. Okay, I think most people have told me how their weekend was. Goodbye, Eusaria, at least for a moment. Enjoy your lunch, whatever it is you end up grabbing. Guys, my weekend whisked by. My weekends are passing faster and faster, and if I'm being honest, it's alarming. It's alarming. I'm a little afraid of it. But I haven't made a remix in a really long time, right? I haven't. Of course, I haven't made a remix in a long time. It just hasn't been the where my importance or whatever has been focused on. It hasn't been my priority. I've been focusing on originals and particularly commissioned originals. But recently I got commissioned for a remix, and I've been making it, or I should say, I started it on Friday. Actually, after the stream, guys. I started it on Friday after the stream, and um, imagine being unemployed. Every day would be a weekend. Says Fizz. Well, as somebody who has been unemployed, yeah, every day was like a weekend, but not a fun one. More of like a nightmare scape type beat. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Okay, so I started it Friday after the stream. So for those of you that were in the Friday stream, I did do a lot of um, I am wearing a Real Lacuna shirt. Can't remember where I bought this shirt from. Can't remember where I bought it from. But it was definitely before I went to Japan because I remember wearing it in Japan. Oh, I just got sad. Okay, anyways, changing the subject, blah, 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 making a remix. Oh yeah, so I got commissioned for a remix. And if you were in Friday's stream, you know I spent 6 hours making music. And then after the stream ended, I got some food and I went back to my room and started the commission. And guys, I went from like silence, like 0 sound at all, to pretty much having the song basically finished as far as like arrangement in that same evening. I mean, I did work into like maybe like 2 a.m., but I ended up doing like the 6 hour production stream, and then I worked on music for like another 8-9 hours making this remix. And yeah, that's why I didn't play Among Us. I ended up eating Chipotle and then just making a remix and then feeling horrible. I think so. Here's the thing. I mean, this is more of like the side note, but I think the fact that my studio is my bedroom keeps me from having too much fun. And when I say fun, I mean like idle fun, like playing video games and stuff like that. If I can get out of my room, guys, if I can make it out into the living room, like permanently, then playing video games like that is so easy. But for whatever reason, when I'm like around my keyboards, it's so hard for me to not work. And so I ended up getting caught in like a cool work spiral and making a really cool thing. And there's this very specific rhythm that I was getting confused with a tumbao or a tumbao. If anybody's familiar with tumbao, I'm gonna say tumbao because I feel like that's the way it's pronounced. But Chipotle is like Taco Bell applied stuff. Oh, maybe. Interesting concept. I will be willing to explore that. I'm willing to explore that. Yeah, work took over. There's like a thing called the tumbao. I'm not gonna try to do it right now. An accurate version of it at least because I'm still learning how to do them. But like the like those. What would it be like? No, I don't even know how to do them anymore. Anyways, it's like a Latin America thing, but anyways, tumbos are things. They're fun. But I ended up doing this rhythm for the remix. I really wish I could let you guys hear the remix, but I can't until I believe it was December. December is when I'm allowed to. Oh my god, they just keep falling. I'm like gonna lose my mind on these things. Hey, I'm gonna rip them down. I can't. Just make sure to point us to when it releases. Oh, for sure. I mean, I haven't released anything this year. The only thing that I've come out this year is, I guess, the View came out this year. Attack the Music released my song The View, and this song will be released by somebody else too. Um, I was a part of like a remix EP or something like that. I wish they'd let me know who else was on the remix EP. I want to know who else was remixing this song. But using this rhythm, the like. I love that. I love that. That was like the rhythm and chords that I used for the song, and that specific rhythm and chords, the rhythm being like da, 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 is a very like Latin, like Latin thing. That is not innate for me or inherent for me. I feel like having taken salsa classes and listened to a lot of salsa music and also listened to a lot of bossa nova, it has familiarized me with those rhythms, but definitely those rhythms do not come from me, and it's something rather that I'm like borrowing from somebody else. Jesse says "Girl from Ipanema" vibes, which is a bossa nova song, so I'll take it. Um, Full year with no releases, quarantine don't count, says Crow. Yeah, the quarantines don't count. Yeah, if we're not counting the quarantines, then it's not. Also, that rhythm was Jaybird. No, not quite. Jaybird is. More of like a bebop feel. It's in like a swing time, different than. It's a different rhythm. Um, the hook part I meant. Oh, Crow. Yes, yes, very similar actually. Good ear on you. Wait, now I have to work my way into it. Oh, the rhythm is not the same, Crow, but the chord change is very similar. Hold on. Wow. Crow, you have a very interesting memory. The rhythm is different? It's different than this. But the chord progression, the harmony is very similar. They're both going from this chord to this chord, which is just a transposition, I think, moving the chord up from. Yeah, it's just the same chord slid up. So one is. And the other one is. Very good ear on Crow. Yeah, same move, like same, I guess, transposition of the chords up. But the funny thing about this chord progression that I used for this remix that I made is that it is the chord progression from Where's Jaybird, says Erwin. Jaybird is an unreleased song of mine that I just play in the streams. It currently only really lives in the streams. Maddie named that song. Shouts out to Maddie wherever you are. Probably working. But the difference in that chord progression, the reason that I use these chords for the remix is because those are the chords from I Miss You. And when I was playing here's what I did. It's kind of like a cheat, I guess, on the keyboard. Is when I was playing I was making this remix, right? And the way I make a remix is usually what I'll do is I'll highlight the acapella or maybe a section of the verse or the hook on Fruity Loops, and I'll just have it loop incessantly. And while it's looping, I will mess around on the keyboard and try to find chords for this song. That's what I did for the Bad and Bougie remix. That's what I did for the Gucci Gang remix. Obviously, it's a lot easier to do when there's atonal lyricism. Atonal vocals like there is in hip hop a lot of the time. So you're not exactly having to find a key or find chords that work. You can kind of just do whatever you want on top of hip hop vocals. But for this song, the vocalist is singing in a key, so I had to find it. And since I don't really know music theories and no keys, what I usually do is I'll just listen to somebody sing, and I'll play a lot of chords until I find one that's like, oh, that works. Or I will play the notes from the melody. If somebody's singing, they're going like, ba 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 da 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 da. That's the melody. I'm like, what chords can I play around that? Let me play it higher. I can do those two chords. Or I could do... That's the wrong chord. You can like mess around and play chords over it as long as you know what the melody is and figure out where it oh crap. Oh. I can't hear my phone buzzing. Hold on. Okay. Wow, this thing is loose. Okay, so uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, it dropped a little bit. But I can still fit in frame. Okay, so you have to, or I have to, when I'm making remixes, I have to play certain chords around whatever the melody is, right? The melody that's happening in the song. And so that's what was happening in this song. This vocalist was singing, and I looped the vocals, and I went over to the keyboard, and I just kind of played chords until I found the chords that she was singing in. But the problem is, I do have like comfort keys. I don't know what the names of these keys are, but there are quite a few. Like, there are some keys, right, that suspiciously large chunk of my songs live in, right? And that's why when I'm playing the morning medley, it's so easy for me to hop and skip between songs and like improv my way from song 1 into song 2 into song 3, so on and so forth. Because even if I was playing like this, these groupings of chords, you know, those chords house so many of my songs. I don't know if all the chords I just played are in the same key, but I know that from those chords I can play Catching Up. I can play Catching Up, or I can play... That's not the same. I can play Beneath the City, or Into Thin Air, sorry. Hopefully those songs harmonically sound very similar, right? Hello, Kit James. Welcome. I'm just explaining how I'm making a remix right now. How I made one of my remix. So I'm playing the... you can also play key lime. Thank you, Dart. Oh. Yeah, I can play key lime. I can also technically, by that same, I guess, chord progression, I can also play me mine. So, what that means to me, for somebody that doesn't necessarily know a lot about music theory, is that a lot of my songs, or at least a handful of my songs, do happen to be in the same harmonic family, like the same harmonic group. But there are some keys or harmonic zones, I'll say, since I'm not exactly sure if they're keys, There's some harmonic zones that I will play in sometimes that none of my songs actually seem to exist in, other than like one song. For example, Witchy. There's none of my other songs that tend to use these specific notes. Oh wait. I don't have any other notes that use that like harmonic zone. So I have this kind of funny, funky, witchy song that I play, and I have to get in and out of it kind of creatively because I just don't have any other songs that flow into or out of that. Um, what chord progression do you rarely explore? Asked Crow. That's a hard question to answer, Crow, because there's so many chords, and I don't like have progressions in my head that I haven't explored, because if I have the progression in my head, usually I have explored it to some extent. Witchy is a really good example of that. These chords, like, aren't necessarily chords that I used very regularly, and now I use them. If they're, it's almost like Crow. It's almost like asking somebody what they don't know. It's like I would be able to tell you, but I don't know it yet. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of chords that I rarely explore, don't really explore often, but I, because I rarely explore them, I can't really immediately recall them for to answer that question. That's a good question though. But the keyline inversion is actually called me mine, Dar. Like the file on Fruity Loops is called, like, it's saved as me mine dot FLP. So that's what I call it. It technically doesn't have a name because it doesn't have any lyrics and it's not released, but I'm just saying that's what the file is called. Um, but when I'm talking about like harmonic zones, welcome back, Isaria. When I'm talking about harmonic zones, it's like, yeah, if somebody's singing, usually if you're playing chords around them, some chords just aren't going to fit with their voice. They're going to sound off, and so you kind of have to avoid those. And so usually, what making remixes, like for example, on this one that I made some, like I speed made it in the evening, what it does that's helping is it's giving me constraints. Like I'm sure you guys are familiar with the idea or the ideology of like an artist works best under constraints. Sometimes if you give somebody walls, um, they at least they are at least more focused, right? Because you don't have this kind of open-ended world, right? Like if somebody was like, you need to make a meal, and they gave you an entire grocery store, it's like, okay, what do I want to make? But if they say you need to make a meal and they put you in a kitchen where there's only a certain amount of ingredients, it's like, oh, okay, I can get to work right now. I know what's going to happen. For this remix that I'm making, since the woman is singing at only a specific like key zone or harmonic area, it's telling me, oh, I'm only allowed to use these chords. You know, it's like 10 chords. And it's like, okay, I can rearrange them. And now I can focus more, instead of chord selection and even melody, because the melody's already chosen for me. And even the chords are chosen for me, right? Because this person's singing the melody and I have to find chords to fit inside that melody. Now I can give way more attention to structure, composition, rhythm, layering. I can do way more because now my focus isn't necessarily on building a harmonic skeleton to decorate, I guess. Now it's like all of my focus is on decoration. Um, what song would you say that you made that is like Giant Steps? I wouldn't say any songs I've made is like Giant Steps. Giant Steps is a wild song. Hello, Michigo. How you doing? Are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you having a good time? For anybody in the stream that doesn't know what Crow's talking about, Giant Steps is a pretty famous John Coltrane song where he does something that was like named after him called Coltrane Changes, where he just like changes key a bunch of times. I wouldn't say that I have any songs that change key that like that. I wouldn't say that I have any songs that are like Giant Steps. I do have songs, Crow, that change keys, but I would say that saying any song that changes keys several times is like Giant Steps is a wild reach, right? Like my song Winter Heart, right, changes keys quite a few times. Here and here. Like I have songs that change keys. Technically, um, 70th to Downtown is just one chord moved around a bunch. But saying that a song that changes keys quite a bit, I would not say that it's like Giant Steps. Cyrus has played Chaser, which I don't actually know if Chaser changes keys or if it just plays a lot of weird chords. Wait. I don't think that song is in any way like Giant Steps. I've heard Giant Steps quite a few times, and I would confidently say I don't have anything that is come close to that. Erwin is asking, have I ever played anything like Giant Steps? Again, Erwin, I only play original songs, really. The only unoriginal song I think I play in the stream is the birthday song when somebody has a birthday in the stream. Usually I'll play Happy Birthday for them, but since I only play my own songs and I would say that I don't have anything that I would say is similar to Giant Steps, then I would say confidently I do not play anything like Giant Steps. That's what I would say. He says, I still live in SoCal for another year. If you ever want to hang, I'm in Little Tokyo a lot. Why is everybody in Little Tokyo a lot? Especially now. I avoid Little Tokyo like the plague now. But I do remember when I moved here, I was like, I can't wait to hang out in Little Tokyo like every weekend. Now I kind of avoid downtown. Isn't that wild? I used to spend like half of my life in downtown. Now downtown feels weird now. Like quarantine kind of killed downtown for me. Doesn't feel good. Where'd Michigo? I misunderstood. Would you put the Coltrane changes in one of your tunes? I don't. Okay. I don't know what the Coltrane changes are. I know when I hear them, right? But I don't really know theoretically what they're doing. And since I haven't spent a bunch of time, Erwin, studying music theory or Coltrane changes, I'm probably not putting them in my music. It's just not something that I think about. Maybe if it was like if I used to do like beat challenges with friends for sure. Like I used to do a bunch of beat challenges where, oh, I just realized what's wrong with my stream. Guys, I'm looking at my own. I have a monitor right where I look at the stream so I can tell what's happening, and it always looks like it's behind, and it's because I'm playing it at a fraction of its speed. Somehow I accidentally got into like the details, the specs of the video, and I'm playing at like 0.25 times, so I'm always a little bit behind. Anywho, sorry, that's neither here nor there. No, I haven't. I haven't put any Coltrane changes in my songs, and I kind of don't want to. I mean, right? That could change. But I view the Coltrane change kind of like how I view. Are you familiar with a Reese bass, Erwin, by any chance? Or anybody? Somebody on the stream might. Oh, if Liana was here, she would know exactly what a Reese bass is. But I'm not giving up hope. Somebody on the stream might know what a Reese bass is. Dang it, Cyber. Dang it. Cyber knows everything. Reese bass is a type of bass that's found in drum and bass, which is very, very common in drum and bass. It was more so spearheaded by like three people that I don't really need to get into right now. All you need to know is it's a very popular thing in like UK drum and bass, UK dubstep, and it kind of became like a staple. And it's not necessary. You don't need to use it in order for your song to be considered a drum and bass song. Just like how you don't need to use the almond break for something to be considered a drum and bass song. Just like you don't need to use harsh auto-tune to make a pop song. But something that bears, like, that's literally called Coltrane change, when I hear somebody else do it, I'm fine, and I don't judge them for doing it at all. I know there's a lot of people that, even friends of mine, who, like, went to music school, and the second they got out, they're like, can't wait to make a Coltrane change, and they, like, put it in a bunch of bridges, or they put it in outros, and it's, like, fun, and it's cool, but it always feels derivative to me. And I'm sure that I just haven't heard it used in the right way. The way that I always hear it used is I hear my friends that have established a chord progression and melody, and then they do Coltrane changes on top of it, and they solo over it, and it's fun, but it also feels very derivative to me for some reason. And I think the only reason why it feels derivative to me is because it literally has his name in it, because it's called a Coltrane change. Like if nobody called it moonwalking and we all called it the Michael Jackson walk, like the Michael Jackson backwards walk, and then people did Michael Jackson backwards walk and like their dance routine, it would always feel weird to me. It would like be like, okay, I get it. You also like Michael Jackson. You're a fan of Michael Jackson's dancing, and now you're just like copy and pasting one of his moves into your routine. It's like I understand how inspiration works, for sure, but I think because it's called a Coltrane change, so it's called something else. If we collectively as a society referred to it as something different, maybe I would feel less bitey for even wanting to use it. But frankly, I just don't really want to use it in a song. There have been times in songs where I have stumbled on something, as every autodidact does, right? Like if you teach yourself how to do something, eventually somebody's gonna look over your shoulder and go like, "Oh, sick! You're using the cross-hatching shading technique." And you, as a self-taught, artist, are gonna go like, "I don't know what that means, but okay, thanks, I guess." I think that I have stumbled on some things, but I think something that is as and intentional and complicated as a Coltrane change probably isn't going to be, at least not in its purest form, like stumbled on for me. I feel like I'm probably not going to just happen stance on a Coltrane change in one of my songs. From someone who doesn't live in LA, says Diz, is Little Tokyo actually representative of Japan, or has it become a marketing tool for anime? I would say, Diz, without reading any further, as somebody who's spent a lot of time in Little Tokyo and also has spent quite a bit of time in Japan, I would say that Little Tokyo is mostly restaurants and hobby shops. So it's very tourist, Japan. It's like you want to get ramen, you go to Little Tokyo. You want to get, um, a Gundam, like Gunpla, you go to Little Tokyo. Like decent manga you can find there. If you're asking if it is actually if it actually represents Japan, there are deeper cultural things there for sure, because it's not like it isn't a gift shop. Like it's historical. Like Little Tokyo is historically a Japanese town and neighborhood. So yeah, there's some stuff there. There's like shrines. There's a shrine, for example, so like that. And there is a temple there. So it's like there's stuff there. There's actual deep cultural things, but mostly it's like anything. If you think about like Little Armenia, or you think about Little Italy, it's like typically if you go to a little cultural town in a big city, you're going to find food there. You're gonna find some fashion stuff, and you're gonna find cultural like knickknacks for sure. But I would not say that it's representative of the actual country. Just like walking close to an American Air Force base in Korea is not necessarily indicative of what it would be like to actually go to America. There's a McDonald's there, right? There's a McDonald's, and you can get, Vans shoes, but other than that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I would say that it's representative of Japan. Um, uh, in San Jose, we have Japantown in San Jose, but it's so small. And there's like Korean and Hawaiian restaurants too. I would say that same thing kind of exists here a little bit. It's like, and don't get me wrong, because that's the thing. It's like I feel like a lot of people, myself included in the past, has like kind of boiled Little Tokyo down to kind of like a gift shop. But it does, like there is um, like there's Nisei Week that happens there. There's like huge Japanese like festivals that happen there. There is like an auditorium like stage that they set up outside of the museum that's there, and there's like a Japanese historical museum there too. And so like then they'll set up these things. There's culture there for sure. It's not like a culture vacuum or anything. I'm just saying I've been in Japan, and I would not equate the two experiences whatsoever. Um, I would say they're very different. Both very cool. If you like Japan, you probably like Little Tokyo. But I'm just saying, it is not indicative or representative of anything in Japan. Um, whoa, Ava's saying something very interesting. I had a dream that I traveled to Japan at least last night, and boy, do I yearn to travel. Wow. I've heard. You know what's funny, Ava? I'm not gonna touch your Harajuku is better than Akihabara statement because that's a pretty that's common. That's like a very common comparison that I've heard a lot of people make, right? Akihabara is definitely more like video games and toys and fun things and cool restaurants, and I would say that Harajuku's more fashion than tech. Akihabara feels like tech. Like there's shops in Akihabara where you can like go in and like buy like really old CD drives, like weird tech level stuff, like old stuff, like old consoles, really old. It's technology. And then Harajuku feels way more fashion and style focused. As somebody that doesn't really care that much about fashion, I will say that I didn't have the love for Harajuku that I did for Akihabara. But to be honest, both of them, or I should say, neither of them are particularly places I want to spend time. I really like Ginza, but I'm not gonna talk about Japan here. I don't want to be sad, and that'll make me sad. Kiwi says I had a nice time in Little Tokyo. I mostly liked how people just dress like however they want there. I would say that that's just LA in general. People dress however they want in LA. Period. I mean, you can go into a freaking Olive Garden and see somebody dressed in Lolita. I wouldn't say that that's a Little Tokyo thing specifically, but people do be cosplaying in Little Tokyo. That's for sure. If you're not into computers, etc., Akihabara is disappointing, says Ava. Yes. I did go to the Gundam restaurant Maid Cafe in Akihabara. I did not. But that is cool. I spent a significant amount of time in both places. I will say, every single. This is the last thing I'll say about Japan. I promise I'll move on. Every single time I went to a new place in Japan, I was like, oh, this town is so much cooler than the last one. Then I'll go to a new town, and I'll be like, this one's cooler than the last one. And it's just like I kept somehow getting to better places until I went to Osaka, and I was like, oh, this is better than Tokyo, period. Like, no area in Tokyo, like, hits me like Osaka did. Um, mm, 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 mm. Same with San Francisco. People dress up however they want. We on bad night. Yeah, maybe it's just, I don't know. I'm not, yeah, yes. I will say that typically, like in the larger cities, people like do not care, especially in California. I know Kiwis in Florida, um, which is a little bit different. I know the like social temperature is a little bit different in Florida than it is here. Florida has like its pockets of like anything you want to do is okay with us, and then it has quite a bit larger pockets where it's a little bit more red, I'll say. But that is the last thing I'll say about Japan. I'm moving on now. I want to drive down the road that Mount Akina is based off of. I'm not going to touch that because I'm done talking about Japan, but that sounds like that would be fun, Diz. The actual temperature is different too, says Cyber. This is also true. This is also true. Now, I got completely sidetracked from what I was talking about, which was harmony and remixes. I'm working on a remix right now. The vocalist is there, so I only can work in a certain amount of chords, right? So what I did, good morning, Liana. What I did is I found the chords that would fit with what this woman was singing to. And once I found the chords, it kind of sucked because they weren't chords I use a lot. They weren't chords I use a lot. So a trick that I gotta stop referring to things as trick. A technique or a procedure that I use as a workaround to that is there definitely are chords or keys that flow more for me. Flowing means they're a little bit easier for me to play. No surprise here, spoiler alert, they tend to be keys that use more of the white keys, right? They tend to be harmonic zones where I can play the white keys because the white keys are easier for me to play without thinking and looking because there's just a little bit less technique involved. There's less skill and there's less hand moving and modifications to your hand. Playing all of like the white keys in the rows is kind of like a simple line. There's no alteration. Playing the black keys is a little bit harder. You can't do it with the same amount of ease and absent-mindedness as you can play the white keys. So what I did was on my MX61, there is a transpose button on the keyboard. Transpose button kind of just makes it so it makes it so that you can play the same notes, but the key will change. You can play, Mary Had a Little Lamb, but you can play Mary Had a Little Lamb in every key simply by just hitting a button instead of actually moving your fingers around the keyboard. I don't know a really good analogy for that, So hopefully you guys got what I just said. Hopefully what I just said made sense. I'm still fishing for an analogy. I'm fishing. I'm fishing. I'm fishing. I guess it would be like if you wanted to learn how to drive a manual car, but you didn't want to actually go through the effort of learning stick shift. If there was simply a button you could press on your car that would go manual, and you would just drive it like it was an automatic, but it would technically be a manual. You would get all the benefits of driving a manual transmission. So I feel like that is what it's called, a lazy pianist. That's correct. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it is lazy. It's like I don't want to learn other keys. I just want to press a button. Like there is a button that you can do that with on a lot of modern keyboards. So what I did was I played the keys that I was familiar with, that I'm really comfortable with, which is typically these. I played those chords over it, and once I figured out which, like I pressed transpose until those chords worked, and then I made a chord progression of that. And then I didn't record it like that though, because I want to grow, at least somewhat. So then I took that off and I moved my fingers up until I found the chords that they were. And it ended up being these chords, which is a lot of black keys. It's every black key, actually. It's every black key and a few white keys. So once I learned that, then I learned the chord progression that I was playing in the other key in these ones. And I found one that I was playing chords I'd never hit before on the piano. This is a chord I've never hit on the piano. I've hit it, wait, no. I've hit it there so many times. That chord's in I Miss You. I'm mixing a lot of like my little improv, like transitions between songs. You guys remember that one? Some of you might remember that one. I've usually played that quite a bit in like improvs or when I'm transitioning from one song to another. And that is very similar. It's like almost the same thing as. It's very, very similar. This is this. Very, very slight modification, but it's just being transposed up a little bit, and I moved a few notes around, but the harmony is the same. And so the reason I'm saying that now, guys, is because those are the chords that I ended up using for the remix. But then I ended up changing the rhythm to be more of a, not necessarily a toonbow rhythm. What is that rhythm? Seem to have cultural titles for them, but that's what I ended up using for the remix. And I was able to find those chords simply by playing chord progressions I was comfortable with and transposing them up. This is not the first time that I've done this, guys. If you think about the song, this one. Song was a song that I played a lot, and it uses, as you guessed it, a lot of the white keys. It uses a lot of the white keys, and that's similar to, right, like Beneath the City uses those keys. What else uses those keys? This weird unnamed song. What's another song I have that uses those keys? Technically Winter Heart at the beginning of it. A lot of those chords pop up in my songs, and so to keep my songs from becoming completely monotonous and repetitive and redundant, what I would do is I would take a chord progression that I already know, and a song I already know, that tends to be in the white keys, and I would move it down or up. So for this one, I moved it down. So it went from being this to this. See, I just moved it down a little bit. Moved it down one note each. So from there to there. Just a slight modification. And now the song's different. Now I'm playing chords in the song that I wouldn't naturally play. Like this one. That? I would never do that. But I would hit those, at least that harmony, that chord progression, just in a different key. And that's not the first time that I've done that. You guys will remember this song. I ended up moving that song up to here. So that I would cover more black keys, so that I would get more comfortable playing some of these black key heavy chords, right? And like this chord is never something I would play. Even the way that my hand has to bend in order to hit these notes to kind of like flatten out my fingers. It's different than when I'm down here. And so, what was a very simple, what is it? No. Wait, how does it go? Hold on. I got this. Something like that. Wow. I can't play it on the easier one. That turned into this. Just moving things slightly up or slightly down. I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this, but I'm sorry, I do not have one. I'm sure there's a really cool artist analogy for this. Ava, maybe you can cook up some kind of cool visual artist analogy for this, but for me, it's just growth is difficult as an artist. Growth is very challenging. You should never feel bad as an artist for stagnating. I don't even really like to use the word stagnating, but I feel like if I use that word, you guys will at least know what emotion I'm tapping into. You know, the feeling of you're an artist and you're looking at your work, or you're looking at your technique or your procedures, your workflow, and you're like, you know what, nothing's changed. I'm not growing. I'm not improving. Artists should be in a constant spiral upwards of improvement, and I feel like I am I've plateaued, I'm existing, and it can be really upsetting. Which is funny, right? Because when you think about being an artist, you think about creating something, just being able to create anything should be great. That should be the gift. That should be the power, is being able to bring anything to light. But a lot of artists, especially if we're spending a lot of time around other artists who are improving, you feel this kind of need to incessantly grow and improve. Because you, as a human being, you're always getting smarter, you're always gaining new knowledge, so every part of you should be getting better until you're dead, right? And I feel that. I feel that a lot in music. I feel that a lot in artistry and composition. There have been a lot of times in mine, and I'm sure in all of your guys' paths, where you felt, oh, I feel like I'm not getting any better. You're looking back at your old self and you're just like, I don't feel like I'm that much better than I was 2 years ago. But that 2 years ago self had really made a lot of improvement. Now I'm just kind of dead in the water. I'm existing. I think that, first of all, a lot of times that's just false, because not all improvement is super easy to see, right? It's not always as tangible and as visible as we would like for it to be. I know that in music, if the song doesn't sound better, a lot of times that can mean for the artist or the person making the music that they're not growing, they're not improving. Good morning, Isidora. Um, it feels like they're not improving, they're not growing. And I felt like this too in the past. But the fact is, you can't always measure growth based off of what is tangible or what is like hard results. For example, this is not so much analogy as much as it's just an example of the exact thing that I'm talking about. I used to play Third Strike all the time, and um, my friend, I played Third Strike with my two friends. My friend would always pick Ken, and if you've played Third Strike, you've played Street Fighter, you know what Ken is. Ken is a monster. So he would always pick Ken, who is arguably one of the most overpowered Shoto characters. I'm getting sidetracked. He would pick a really good character. He would always wash me and my friends. And I I was so used to losing that the defeat wasn't actually upsetting to me. You know, the defeat was never upsetting to me. I never even wanted to see the win. Almost. I mean, I would like to have won, but that wasn't even necessarily my goal. My goal was just improvement. You know, it was like, oh, this time he didn't get me with that move, or this time he didn't just shut me out. I actually got a victory, or this time I could tell he was like maybe worried. And there was noticeable improvements. If somebody was simply just looking at the result of each match, they would go, Omni, you lost 30 times in a row. Doesn't seem to be any improvement. But there is huge improvement that I was experiencing until eventually I was a better third strike player than my friend. And he, to be honest, he stopped enjoying it as much when he wasn't winning. Once I got better than him with Akuma, by the way. But once I got better than him, he didn't want to play as much, and so I didn't really get as much practice after I surpassed him. But point is, how is Ken compared to Ryu in Third Strike Alpha? I would say that Ken has way more variety than Ryu does, and like more mix-up game. If you're familiar with what that is, like he has like way more potential for cross-ups in the game than Ryu does. Ryu hits harder, but he's slightly slower, and he doesn't have as many options. Right. Anywho, I ended up improving so much that I was better than him. But it wasn't like a binary light switch, like I was worse than him, then I was better than him. It was a lot of gradual improvement. And as an artist, you can make a lot of art, guys, and you will look at your art and you won't really see this huge jump, this spike of progress. Like, oh, suddenly my music sounds like Zed and it used to sound like me. Or you won't like be drawing and go like, oh, suddenly my stuff looks like the new Netflix original anime, and it used to look like 2 weeks on DeviantArt. It doesn't happen like that all the time. Sometimes you learn a very very small thing that isn't so traceable, you know. So the reason that I'm saying all that is because when I'm playing piano, sometimes just learning a new chord, one new chord, changes everything. It's a new thing in your arsenal. And if I play chords that I'm familiar with, right? I'm familiar with this chord. 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 If I'm just playing chords I'm familiar with all day, for example, this one. I play that chord quite a bit. So this chord, if I take that chord and I move it down, I move it down one note each. So one note for each. Each finger's gonna move down one note, and now I'm hitting this. What is that chord? Well, that's not a chord that I would ever play. I play this version of it. I don't play it down here. But now that I know this chord exists, that is what allowed me to do this little roll down that I did in Friday's stream. I would play this chord progression. Now the third chord, again, is not something I would normally play, but all it is this chord moved down one half step, whole step. I gotta be careful using terms like that. Sometimes I'll get like I'll get excited and I'll like throw out a random like real music theory thing, and then somebody that knows music theory will be like, that's not what that is. So ignore it if it was wrong. If it was right, take it. Give me a second, FFA. I'm actually explaining something kind of important. So that's how I get, but I will play it. But that's how I get those new chords. That's how I get chords just by playing a chord a chord that you're familiar with, like this one. I play that one quite a bit. third chord. It goes. Sorry. That chord. So if you just move stuff around, if you slide things around on the piano anyway, sometimes it can open up some opportunities or some more avenues for you. Um, Simply key wise, right? Harmony and stuff like that. Because you can play the same song arguably in a bunch of different keys. You can play, I can play this, and then I can move it down and go to, or I can play like doublets, and I can move it up. There's a lot of times you can do that. Winter Heart does that. Move it up. Move it up. Like you can keep moving things around. And you're actually, as far as the harmony, as far as the melody, as far as the notes and stuff like that, and the relationships, you're not changing the song. It's just like if I sing Happy Birthday high and then I sing Happy Birthday low, you're not changing the song. But you are changing the harmonic zone or the key or the range that it's in. And while when we're singing, that doesn't make a big difference. When you're playing piano, that can be very hard. If somebody says, oh, can you sing Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus? If we all started singing it right now, just all, you know, in the comfort of our bedrooms, we're probably not all going to sing it in the same key. It's just how humans work. We remember relations, but don't necessarily remember the key of a song. So we can sing the melody, but if somebody comes up to like Cyber and says, can you sing Party in the USA? And they start singing it in a different key, Cyber can arguably, whether they, I don't know how their range is, but they can sing or at least hear the rest of the song in that key. They can just take off from there. And it's because we remember relations. And singing, it's really easy to do those relations because you're just, you know, like whistling, it's easy to alternate between those because our voice is something that is so closely tied with like our brain. You think a sound, you can make that sound. You think a word, you make that word. It's not as simple as when you're trying to spell it. Think about spelling. A lot of us are very, very fluent in English, but we can't spell every word that we can speak. Piano is very similar to that when it comes to like singing and harmony and melody. I can hum a lot of things. I can sing a lot of songs, but I cannot play them because playing them, now I need to know relationships and where the notes fall on this physical thing that is not part of me. You know, it's outsourcing now the melody. From brain to mouth is easy. From brain to hands to completely unrelated object that makes sound, it can be very tricky. So a way that I widen my chord and melody vocabulary is by playing things I know and then shifting them up or down a few notes and then trying to learn them in this new place. As far as music theory is concerned, as far as somebody like Erwin would know, this is just taking a song and learning it in different keys. It's very common to do. But for somebody that isn't familiar with music theory, you can mimic this or mock this or replace this or substitute this simply by learning or even writing your own song and then slowly taking those notes and moving them up to a different place or moving them down to a different place. When I gave you guys those examples earlier, when I did doublets, I was just rattling those off, right? Like it seemed very, very easy, very fast. But I'm not doing those that fast innately or naturally. Those are practiced songs, right? It took a very long time for me to be able to like play doublets, right? And then or play doublets. And then take every note and then move it up one each. It took a lot of time. But now that I've sat and I've kind of grinded that out and practiced it, now the switch is very, very quick and easy for me. But there's still so many more keys, so many more switches, so many more transitions that I do not know. And so it's kind of like this ever learning upward thing. You never get sick of it. But again, for the remix that I'm making right now, I had to do that, and it did open up those chords. Wait. Yeah. still here wanted to hear the three chords from Gucci Gang. Those are the chords from that song. I assume you're from YouTube or Roblox or something. I don't know how to say your username. I wish there was a key of Omni. I guess by definition, Cyber, the key of Omni would be all of the keys. I don't have a song that uses every key because I don't really know the keys to be able to pick them. But I do have quite a few songs that use every note on the keyboard. And the reason I know, painfully know that they do is because when I play them on keyboard, alright, when I play a piano, especially if it's an upright piano, because upright pianos are very common and they're also very commonly out of key, or at least slightly. Usually when I go over to somebody's house or I'm at like a public park and they have a piano, instead of doing this kind of annoying thing of like going like and hitting all the like notes to figure out if there's one that's out of key, what I usually do is I'll play my song Winter Heart, because Winter Heart hits every note. Not maybe all 88 keys, but it hits every note, right? Like, all of these notes are going to get hit over the course of the intro, even before I get to the middle of the song. Just playing through that intro segment covers all of these notes. Doesn't seem like it because it happens very fast, but all of the chords and the melody do. And so usually I'll play that because it'll very quickly tell me which keys or which notes are out of key or out of tune, if any. And then once I figure out what that is, like if it's this note that's out of tune, I'm like, okay. And then I rifle through my songs and I'm like, what songs use that one note? Well, Rose Milk uses that. What else uses that key? Catching Up uses that key. And I'll like just check off all the songs that I can't play, and then I'll play the ones that I can play. Sometimes it's a key that's a little bit more common in my like if it's this note, it's gonna be a little hard to play a lot of my music because like Flight Plan uses that. Even a lot of my songs that are in the black keys use that, like Keyline. I want to do that in a song, but maybe some other time. I think that I saw somebody. Oh my god! I had a whole conversation with myself. I don't know if anybody else does this, but sometimes when I'm working on art, I will slow down and have a conversation with myself in order to get through ideas quickly. It's really hard for me to have the full monologue in my head if I'm alone, especially if I'm working on music. I'll get distracted. So I was trying to talk myself around this really interesting phenomenon that, well, it's not really a phenomenon, but this problem I was having with music creation, which is I was working on, I'm glad Erwin can relate, I was working on tempo changes and how I love tempo changes in songs. Particularly, I like it when a song's really, really fast and then it goes into a B section that's really slow. Like where it's a fast song and then it like quickly goes into a very slow section and it ends the song like that. The song goes out slow. I also like it when there's a song that starts off slow, has a really fast section, and then comes back to slow. Tend to like to end slow as opposed to ending fast. But point is, you can put tempo changes in FL Studio, like that's a thing that you can program in. But if you've played and recorded a wave, the wave will not bend to those rules and makes everything wonky, and I was like ruining a bunch of like song files. It was really annoying. But I was having an internal monologue or an outward monologue while I was trying to figure that out. And also trying to figure out exactly how I could do. I like broken things, right? It's really clear if you listen to like Nice Dream. I used to do a lot of really broken rhythms. And when I'm saying broken rhythms, I mean rhythms that are weird for the sake of being weird. They don't really have an overall purpose other than that, like, this will be hard for people to follow when they listen to this. It's like math rock. If you listen to Nice Dream, I do that a lot. Also, clowncore does that a lot, but I'm not gonna get into clowncore in this stream. But I would do a lot of like literally clicking out on my mouse like a chord and then going and finding like the weirdest like in between note that it could happen again. So it kind of has this weird wonky like not danceable, not looped nature to it, where like in order for you to actually know this section of the song, you kind of just have to have heard it like 8 to 10 times to like commit it to memory, because it's not going to make any rhythmic sense. I think that that was something that I used to do a lot, and now as a person that performs a lot, especially in clubs, I'm having this really weird dichotomy where I'm always trying to make songs that are going to be pleasant to people and danceable, but also songs that are going to be very fun for me to play. Um, it's interesting. It's pretty hard. It's hard to make interesting rhythms within a 4/4 template, I guess. For me, that was it. But like, that is like fun for me. That was fun, and it still falls in like a nice little 4/4 beat, so it's still very danceable. But I think that sometimes playing music, it can turn into a competition with sometimes yourself, sometimes with your peers. I'm sure we can all relate here. Even if you're not a musician in the stream, we have a lot of artists in the stream. We also have a lot of people in the stream that just create something or perform at something. And there is a lot of times where you want to outperform for outperforming's sake. You want to play fast because you can, and you know that it can be impressive. You want to lift a heavy thing because you can lift a heavy thing, even though you don't necessarily need to, right? Like if you're not doing like a weight training or something like that, you're just trying to stay in shape. You don't really need to do this thing. Maybe you order the largest drink because it's cheaper and you can afford it, even though you're not really that thirsty. I think that as an artist, restraint is a much harder thing to learn, in my opinion, than skill. You can learn a skill relatively quickly and easily, but learning how to have restraint and not just do it to death is so hard, because it involves people outside of you. It's not just yourself. You want people to know you're good, and if you don't do the thing, well, how will people know you can do the thing unless you do it constantly? It's hard. It's rough stuff. This says there's a cricket stuck under my dryer. It's trying to save them. Oh, well, good luck to that cricket. There's mosquitoes in my room, and I'm trying to do the opposite of save them. I'm trying to ruin them. Ugh. I love the winter in LA, because the bugs all go away in the winter. Sometimes I think about places that are just cold a lot of the time, like Montreal, and I'm like, man, that winter is bitter. Like, that sucks. You guys, like, can't go outside, but man, you don't have bugs either. Like, bugs just don't be really doing anything in the winter, and, like, I think living in a colder climate, like, what a dope trade-off. Like, roaches hate the cold. Mosquitoes don't really like being out there when it's, like, 10 degrees. Anyways, Montreal. Montreal, ooh. Maybe that'll be in that Bugsnax game. Okay. This song is called... I forgot what this song is called. I think a bag filled with water and pennies help get rid of them. What? Oh, are you talking about mosquitoes? Maybe. I don't know how true that is either. Yeah, they keep getting me. I think it just got me on the leg. It's always the legs with you guys. It's always the legs. I hate them. Killing them does give me joy, though. There's so few murders give me joy, but the murder of a mosquito brings me a lot of joy. Okay, I strips in the morning and evening. Well, that can be comforting. This song, I'm not gonna play Baby Be Less, which is what that section was from. That was from Baby Be Less. Anymore. Liana is here, so I will do the full rendition of Double Let's. just chicken burrito. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, add the beans. Why was Bokeh driving that day? Where were we going? Oh, my memory is so weird. Every time I play the song Into Thin Air, it always makes me think of a very specific street in Hong Kong. Which is funny because Into Thin Air was not written in Hong Kong. It's simply the music video for it was takes place in Hong Kong. But I didn't write that song there. But whenever I play it, I always think of that one street. What's up, Random? Um, Alpha does the double rice. No beans, no spices. What spices? They got spices at Chipotle? That's mean. But for real though, what spices? Just as I forgot I was in China. Dang, I forgot I was in Hong Kong. I forgot I was in Hong Kong. How about that, huh? Yeah. Okay, some of you might notice that I did not have my smoothie today, so I am very hungry. So we will be ending in 7 minutes because I need to cook something. Water for breakfast is not cutting it. Don't feel awkward, Alpha. I was mostly joking. I was doing that thing where people that like spicy food try to pretend like no other place is spicy. Like, oh man, you Tapatio, really? Wow, Tapatio is like water for me, baby. I was doing one of those. Okay. Um. I always get miles as it is. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like that's not normal. I'm not gonna pretend like you guys are weird and I'm normal. I think that I've I've like ruined my taste buds or whatever on your tongue receives and processes heat. I've like ruined it. So now like the hot at any place isn't spicy. So what I usually do is I'll go to Chipotle and I'll get hot in the burrito, and then I'll come home and I'll put habanero. I'll like put habanero salsa in it, or like a little drop of ghost pepper, give it a little bit of a more attitude, you know. I never get how your hands don't hurt after playing the way you do. How do I play, Erwin? Do I play wrong? That's not a trick question, Erwin. Am I playing like wrong? Because I probably am. Like, is there like probably holding my hands wrong. I think somebody told me once that's like you shouldn't be putting the notes flat. You should have like a very healthy like bend in each finger to like you're supposed to play piano like this. And I definitely don't play like that. At least unless I'm playing a chord that requires it, right? What a beautiful chord. How do I do that more often? Oh, never mind. It's not beautiful. It's just that chord. Boo, boo, boo. My hands being far apart confused. I thought it was something way more complicated. Spicing can be okay, says Diz, but usually I can't enjoy it because it translates to too hot. I feel you on that, Diz. I mean, I don't feel you in that I experienced that, but I feel you in that, like, yeah, food should not hurt. I'm never a proponent of, like, eating things that are going to hurt you. The only reason I put as much hot sauce and stuff like that on my food as I do is because it doesn't hurt me. You're playing right. I just don't think that there's a right way to play, but whenever I try to play one of your songs, my hands hurt. Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's normal. Hey, Erwin, I know you weren't in this stream, but I talked, it was funny because Cyber told me to stop playing it. Like, yo, stop. But there is a very specific, I'll play Flight Plan right now. I know I kind of already played Flight Plan, but I'll play it the right way, and I'll tell you when my hand starts to hurt. How about that? Because there is two of my songs that hurt my hand, and they don't necessarily hurt my hand. I think I feel it right in here, and it happens the same part of the song every time. I think it happens in Flight Plan because this never really stops in Flight Plan, right? Like this, I transfer it to different hands, right? I do a lot of trading, like, and then I move it into that. I trade it because it's a very exhausting pattern to play all the time. I'll play through the rest of it. Notes. Like I don't get a break. The only break that I can have is switching it from one hand to the other hand. pinky, but it's mostly like in here, like the tendons in there do start to feel really tight towards the end of that song. And I think it's more so repetition that's doing that to me. It's not necessarily that this pattern or that pattern's really hard to play. It's that there really is no break. Like Flight Plan, unlike the other fast songs that I have, like even if you think about Winter Heart like goes on for a minute, right? But if you look at the pinky, there are breaks. There's da 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 break, 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 da 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 break, da 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 break, da da da. So there are small breaks in there, and even though the breaks don't seem to be very long, Erwin, they build up over the course of the song to be like maybe a whole 10 seconds of not playing throughout the course of the song can help me last a little bit longer. But with Flight Plan, there's literally no breaks. I do sometimes switch again to be on other hands, but it goes straight from that to into this part. Then it goes straight from that to there's just no breaks at all. And so it's more of like an exhaustion or attrition, um, more than it's like what I'm playing is very difficult. Um, but honestly, Erwin, if you're saying that playing my songs hurts your hands, you do have to remember. I mean, I'm playing, even though I'm not playing for the entire 2 hours of the stream, I am playing for maybe a collective hour to an hour and a half of it, and yeah, just playing quite a bit a day, you know. Because like this isn't the end usually. At the end of this medley, I still play piano outside of the stream, usually to like work on music. Because I don't work on commissions during the stream, right, Erwin? So you have to think about I'm playing for maybe an hour or two, guys, or an hour or two for you guys in the morning. Then after I turn off the stream, I go and I work, which is on music. So I'm still playing. It's like I don't take much of a break from playing on music, unless it's a weekend or I've gotten a new video game, which hasn't happened in a while. So yeah, we're gonna start out winding things down here. If you're not careful, you might break your wrist, says Cyber. That's very scary. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. We had freaking yeah, Lindsay. I haven't seen Lindsay in a while. Lindsay was in the stream, and Lindsay had done something to their wrist from like playing a video game, playing like a phone game. They had like it wasn't carpal tunnel, I think. I think it was like there's like a word for it. Tendinitis. They had gotten tendinitis, I think. And them saying that like scared me because I was like, dang, I like play a lot of video games and a lot of piano. Like if I ever get tendinitis, that's going to actually like suck for me money wise, right? Because like my hands are literally my paycheck right now, so that would suck. Yeah, I see her sometimes in Sky Cyber. I see her sometimes in Sky. I just haven't seen her in the stream. Just because she's the only person from the stream that plays that game. No, this isn't like an invitation to everybody to play that game. You don't know how unreliable I am on video games, but yeah, she's the only person I know that's in that game. It's like me, her, and like one of my other friends. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. My wrist hurts. And I think Erwin, it's just because I do it so often that it's like, thank you, Isaac. I appreciate the shirt compliment. I also am a fan of this shirt. I don't play a lot. I mean, I don't wear it a lot because I don't want to ruin it. And like white stuff, I tend to ruin pretty quickly. All of my white shirts you've seen me wearing this stream have like a weird stain on them somewhere that just won't come out. So I'm trying to let this shirt last longer, so I'm not doing that. But that being said, wrists, I think that I can only last longer because I play piano a lot. What about him, Isaac? I can't see the game Binding of Isaac ruined the name Isaac for me, which is wild because that name was in the Bible, so I knew about it a long time before the binding happened. Anywho, yeah, as far as like hands and wrists and stuff like that, hands and wrists, it's just I play too much, and so it doesn't make me invincible, but it definitely makes my endurance level a little bit higher. Go through right clothes quickly. How quickly do you go? I don't know. I never like put a time on it. Same thing about socks, Isaac. If you ask me how quickly I go through socks, I don't know because I have a lot of pairs of socks. but I only have one of these shirts, Isaac, so it's a lot easier to track how quickly I'm going to go through this one shirt. However, if I had like 7 of these shirts and you asked me how quickly did they last, I wouldn't know exactly how to answer that question. Um, do you do any physical therapy stuff? Jesse, I actually used to work at a physical therapy clinic. So the answer to the question is no. I used to help other people do physical therapy. Because of it, it caused me to do certain things to myself, for myself. There are wrist exercises for pianists, but the funny thing, Jesse, is I don't do them because, um, as contradictory as this might seem, I don't consider myself a pianist. I'm more of like just a music maker. Because every time I make music, it's not necessarily on the piano. Piano is a good majority of this stream, but as you guys will know, Jesse included, who has come into the Friday stream, when I'm making music, I do play piano a little bit, but most of it is a lot of clicking and like typing, which doesn't hurt my wrist. But Jesse, I used to, before this year, sadly, write every day. I used to write in a journal every day, and when I was doing that writing, and I'm doing like a lot of studying and stuff like that, and writing like weird speed dream scripts and stuff like that, my my wrist would start to hurt after writing for too long, and I would do like all of these. I remember like YouTubing like wrist exercises to keep from getting sore wrists and sore fingers when you're working. So I would do like a lot of those exercises. But if I'm ever playing piano, here's the thing, Jesse. If I'm ever playing piano and my wrists and fingers start to hurt really bad, which again hasn't happened in a long time, I just stop playing. I don't really do exercises to increase my longevity, I guess, while playing piano, just because I don't. Pianist, music maker, streamer, writer, etc. Yeah. A bunch of things. Pizza eater, waffle maker. Um, I do have quite a few releases out. Jesse and Diz, and Cyber and Isaac, um, and Ava. Assuming Ava's still on here. I do have quite a few releases out. Signals is one of them. Tall Tales is another one of them. House of Omni is another one that's actually a collaborative EP that every single track features one of my friends. All of which you are kind of inactive right now, so that's funny. After that we have our Dream series. So Nice Dream is my first Dream series, Dream EP. The second one is called Love Dream. The third one is called Speed Dream, which is currently an exclusive to YouTube and SoundCloud, sadly. And then after that we have Daydream, and we have Lush Dream, more of like a chill thing. Daydream is more of like an orchestral breakbeats, drum and bass thing. And then after that we have Quick Breath and Ego Death. Those two came out last year. They're two companion EPs. One is more upbeat house vibe, and then the other one is more ambient, chill vibe. So check those out if you get a second. They can be found on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. We're on YouTube right now, so if you want to check out the Quarantine series, there are 8 of them, and I worked very hard on them. But those are the only things that I've like quote unquote released this year. Those are the only songs that I've made that people outside of this stream have heard this year, I suppose. Yes. My handwriting did a number on my wrists. Ugh, I'm sorry, Jesse. Yeah, handwriting can do that. I mostly eat waffles and pizza. Would be a funny bio, says Diz. I do like both of those things. My waffles yesterday tasted funny. I think I've gotten too close to the waffle. I'm now inside the waffle, and that's what's scary. I actually don't know what a waffle is supposed to taste like. All I know is my waffles don't taste like Waffle House waffles. I don't know what gives them their flavor, but mine tastes different. I'm not saying I want them to taste like Waffle House waffles. I'm just saying when I eat one of my waffles, I can't tell if it's a good waffle or not because I actually don't know what the flavor profile of a waffle is supposed to be. There's so many fruit. I put a lot of like berries on my waffles and like and powdered sugar and stuff, so it's like the waffle basically just becomes a vehicle for fruit at that point. So I don't exactly know what it's supposed to be. Anyways, Cyber says Waffle House waffles have buttercream in them. And you have to let it sit in the fridge overnight. Oh, I'm never going to do that, but the buttercream sounds pretty cool. Speaking of letting things sit in the fridge overnight, I actually do need to, in the stream, to go start marinating some chicken because I was supposed to marinate it overnight and I forgot. So, yeah, I've got to do that. That covers like the song releases. As far as news, guys, it is another week. These weeks are just flying by, aren't they? We're all getting older and we're gonna die. But until then, I will continue to do my Friday production stream. If you were in the last production stream this past Friday, it was actually a lot of fun because oh wow, yeah, I started a new song. I started a new song on the stream, and it actually ended up coming together really well. It was we were doing Plunderphonics. This Friday is going to be a continuation. Um, this Friday is going to be a continuation of the Plunderphonics segment, I guess, of the production stream. I feel like I opened up an avenue, especially with that one called Sprong. Wait, no, I don't remember the names of them, guys. I'm just throwing random titles on them, but there was one of them that had like that sampled Groundhog Day and sampled Three Ninjas, and it sampled Sachi. Like that one has real potential, I think. Get up. I can hear it in my head. But anyways, I'm probably going to work on that one and then start some more Plunderphonics tracks. I would like to get at least 5 to... Oh, was Liana not there for that? Anyways, I would like to get at least 5 to 10 Plunderphonics songs started and in progress in the stream. And I think that it was called Dudes. That's right, because I sampled the dudes, like the surfer dudes from Three Ninjas. I think Dudes, Spronk, and we'll get like 4 more started maybe this Friday. More Plunderphonic songs. If you guys have something specifically, that you would like to hear be attempted to put it in a Plunderphonic song, maybe you want to send me your own vocals, or you want to send me you saying something stupid that I can put in. Please, nothing profane, guys. I don't want to put anything vulgar in. But if you have anything like that, yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. Now, this is definitely not, and I want to say this as carefully and as politely as possible. This is not a feature. This is not an open feature. This is not Omni needs a singer for a track. This is more so, if you want it to be your voice, that's cool, or you want to send me something, that's also cool. I'm probably going to have to pitch and tune it to be careful. I can't just use like just a straight up like Luke Skywalker quote or whatever in the song. I mean, we all know what copyright is and how that works, right? Yes, we do. So I'm probably not going to do that. Jesse says Encino Man, which is an amazing movie. Encino Man introduced me to Pauly Shore, and for that I am grateful, aware of him. Pauly Shore's entire personality to me is boiled down to that one weird kid in Encino Man, and also Max's friend in the Goofy movie. He doesn't exist outside of those 2 roles. So, using so many random sounds in voice clips. It's Dead Man's Tetris by Flylo. Word. Yeah, it's also Plunderphonics. You're right, Alpha. Yeah, Pauly Shore. Why are you spelling Pauly like that? Why are you spelling Pauly like that? Anywho, wow, that's actually a really good name for a track, by the way, Alpha. Pauly Shore. I can't tell if you're making a joke or if you actually don't know who Pauly Shore is and that it's spelled like Paul, like the word, like the name Paul. But regardless, Pauly Shore would be a really cool, like the way you spell it would be a really cool, like a future bass song title that had a bunch of like beachy sounds, like steel drums and maybe like a ukulele sample in it, but it was like halftime, had some synth bass. I'm building the whole song in my head. Liana, even if you don't check out the Friday stream, I know you're a busy woman. This Friday I will revisit the song and then you can hear it then. But if you just want to hear how it got made, yeah, you can. It is saved on the Friday stream. And since I had a LAN cable, there was literally no dropped frames. Like the stream didn't freeze out or anything, so it's pretty sick. Yeah. Pauly Shore. Oh boy. Flylo mentions him in his Captain Murphy track. Oh. That's funny. I don't know. I didn't know that. The cable is a nice addition. It says Cyber, good job. Says Cyber, thanks Cyber for noticing. I try to make the stream good. Sometimes it costs money. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's an attitude adjustment I need to make. Sometimes it's a LAN cable I need to buy. I'm willing to make the sacrifice, whatever it is. Guys, that's all that's going on. Last Friday stream we started Plunderphonics. This Friday we're going to continue along with the Plunderphonics thing. I'm actually also going to be hitting up a few producer friends of mine and having them send me some stuff, just because never hurts. The more the merrier. Nice to have a richer pool of things to pull from, richer pool to pull from. And tomorrow will be Morning Medley number 232 at the same time as this one was. This song is called Hush Hour. Um, Wait, Alpha, what art piece are you talking about? This song's called Hush Hour. For some reason, Hush Hour, technically, if we're getting into the technical, Hush Hour has existed for a while, right? Before I went to Hong Kong. But Hush Hour and Into Thin Air, both of their music videos were recorded in Hong Kong, and so I kind of have forever tied these songs to Hong Kong, like they belong there somehow. And so whenever I play this, that's always what I think about. Oh, I didn't see it, Alpha. At least I don't remember saying it. You remember Shilling, says Erwin? Oh. Everyone's asking me if I remember Shilling, and I'm pretty sure they're talking about my song Shilling off of my mixtape Lush Dream. But Erwin, Shilling is actually the nickname of a very close friend of mine who lives in England, whose voice is on that track. I named the song after her. And so when you said that you remember Shilling, I just thought of her. And I do remember her, and I missed her to pieces. But I do remember that song. Do I remember how to play it? No, I don't remember what chords I hit. I wrote that song in like 5 minutes. I wrote that song. I messaged Shilling, my friend Erwin, and I told her, hey, when you're taking the train into London, because she lives slightly outside of the center of the city, and she takes the train into the center of the city to work, I said, can you just record your voice saying all of the stops that the tube makes on the way to your job? And she was like, why? And I was like, I'm going to use it for a song. And she said, oh, that'll be fun. And she sent me all the names of the stops, and that's what the woman's voice is saying in that track. And then I just named it after her, because why not? I'll check the Discord though, Alpha. I've created my own bed, right, with the Discord thing. You guys all know how I feel about Discord, and I made a Discord, and some of you are in it, and I'm basically treating it the exact same way I treat all of the Discords that I'm in, which is like almost never opening it. But I'll try to be better. I'll try to be better for sure. Her name is Money, says Cyber. It is indeed. She at first didn't like it. When she was a foreign exchange student. I'm not gonna make this whole story about her because it's the end of the stream. She was a foreign exchange student though at ASU. I went to school with her. She was the only British person that I knew, so I constantly said British things around her, even though some of them were like outdated, like shilling. I would say a lot of stupid stuff, and it would always. At first, it annoyed her, but I think eventually it became endearing. And then she actually had other people call her shilling. I wasn't the only person. Whoa, everybody was calling her shilling. I started that. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. She's great. I do remember that song. I just don't remember how to play it. And the way I made it in 5 minutes, Erwin, is because I sent her... Erwin, you were in the production stream. You've seen how my setup is. It's very... I can reach everything. You know, I can reach my drum pad. I can reach my drum machine. I can reach my MIDI fighter. I can reach my reface. I can reach my Mix61. I can reach my vocoder. I can reach my interface. I can reach FL Studio. So I had her send me the vocals. Once she sent me the vocals... I just played quick, like I think it's only like 3 or 4 chords. I played a few chords on my reface, and then I went over to my drum pad and did like a really quick drum loop. If you hear the drums on that track, they don't really do too much. And then I called it a day. A lot of the songs on Lush Dream, they were made very quickly on purpose because I wanted to not overthink them. Typically with mixing, if you hear some of my older songs, I spend hours. Even if you've heard Dropout, right? Like Cyber can tell you, Dropout's been all but finished in the stream forever, but I always open it and I'll make really slight minute adjustments. I told myself I wasn't going to do that with the Lush Dream songs, so I typically didn't spend too much time on those songs. The songs like Shilling, songs like Kiwi, songs like Groom's Cake, songs like Inglewood, songs like a lot of those songs, it's very little time was spent on them. The only songs I would say that I spent a decent amount of time on are like Button Willow or Metrolink, the songs where there was a lot of like sampling and stuff like that involved. But yeah, it was a quick work. And the reason that I was making them so fast, Erwin, is because there are 33 tracks on that mixtape, and I mean that's a lot of music. I didn't want people to have to hear. I didn't want people to listen to it with intent. I wanted people to listen to it like it was like an audiobook. They can just kind of lie back and let the music happen to them. And I think if I put a lot of ingenuity and minute mixing and cool solos and key changes in those songs, I would have set myself up for disappointment because nobody was going to listen to 33 tracks and become married to all of them and all of their intricacies. So I made them a little bit more easy listening. Indeed, Liana, I will try to do that. I'm getting paid in 2 months. Oh, that sounds scary, doesn't it? Yikes. Rent's due in a few days. Anyways, yeah, I'll be paid soon-ish, and then I will have that Monday that what you would like me to have today. Audiobook music, what a concept. That's what Speedream was supposed to be, but I digress. Thank you so much, guys, for being in the stream. I do appreciate you guys. Sorry that Among Us didn't happen. I feel like I want there to be a lot of people. Not a lot, but you know, I want it to not just be like 3 or 4 of us in Among Us. So I'm waiting, but I will be around. I will also be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for another Morning Medley stream, Morning Medley number 232. I'm glad to hear it, Kiwi. Another person to play Among Us with us. Among Us. I'm not gonna try to make a joke there. Anyways, another person, that's good. I'll see you guys here tomorrow for Tuesday's Morning Medley number 232. Thank you guys so much for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I always appreciate it. It's a good start to the day. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. The chunk. Cyber. Oh yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'll see you here tomorrow. Abba. Oh, I don't even have a smoothie to grab. I'm pretty hungry, man. I'm not hungry, man. I'm a hungry man.